started laughing because it's like, I got to get off here. I got to get myself together for our internet show.
Yeah.
You know?
An internet show. It's on 550 AM radio shows. Richard Brooke is a podcast and an internet show. That's twice he's hurt my feelings.
We're getting ready to.
This is the real deal. I told somebody it's the biggest. It's like you're the biggest show of something, right? Aren't you the biggest
in the world? And it's the longest running.
Longest running and the biggest in the world.
Yeah. So I have to watch for Marianne to stick.
You're like the Rush Limbaugh of the internet. It's not even internet. It's on AM. You're the Rush. What are you? Exactly.
When the light turns on, we're about ready to start. Shut up.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we're getting ready to go.
I hope so. I'm holding my breath.
Ah.
And hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it is the wonderful, wonderful network marketing leadership show. And I am here with my co-host, the one and only Adrian Chenault, and it's a pretty fun start on the day already. I came in with the wrong kind of shirt on, so they made me change my shirt. It was too close to the start of the show. I took my shirt off in front of Jordan and Adrian and Chad and Mihai and Lucian and Marianne. Everybody threw up, hurt my feelings. Here we are. I thought I was looking kind of buff.
You're looking fantastic.
Hello, Jordan. How are you?
Good. How do you know that somebody didn't hit Control-Command-3 when you had your
everybody
shirt
got
off?
Pictures of it. They all just me and Arnold.
That's pretty low in the pantheon of Tom Chenault blackmail material.
Oh yeah, they have far more than that. So you guys, there's no nicer guy in network marketing.
You can't unsee that stuff, Tom.
What?
You can't unsee that.
See, he is acting like he and I don't spoon together. He took me to his house, and he tried the old. This is what you do when you're trying to hook somebody into coming to their house. Would you like to walk over to my house? So I walk over to his house. Would you like to come in my apartment? We go in. Next thing I know, I walk in and he's got all these big no shirt clothes things in his walls. All pictures of himself, life size, all over the place. He called this is the Jordan Adler room. It was beautiful. So I said, how am I ever going to get even with that? Because it totally scarred me. And I thought, well, maybe I'll wear a shirt that doesn't work on the radio show, take it off on the air in front of Jordan, and get even with him. And here he is.
Here we are. Okay, we're even. Get started. Let's go.
Okay, Jordan. You're the nicest guy in the business. In the network marketing business, you have proved definitively two things. Number one, never, ever, ever quit. And number two, nice guys finish first. And there is no doubt in my mind about that. You are truly one of the kindest, best guys I know. And you're always calling me on the phone, asking me what you can do for me, which literally a handful of people do. And I love you for that, man. So thank you for your contribution to everything wonderful about this profession.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be here with you. I appreciate the invitation. This is always fun.
And how do you like
It's always
Adrian?
fun. Adrian's a great guy, and he's got some great ideas, doesn't he?
He's not bad. So
he's putting together. That guy's a marketing guy right there.
I know, but It is called the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Tom Chenault. Do you see Adrian anywhere there? No.
It's your show.
Okay, thank you. Until I am gone. But they did change the name from the Tom Chenault Show because they have the feeling my demise is imminent. So who knows? But anyway, so Jordan, so much going on in the world of politics, so much going on in the world of people shooting each other, hatred, all kinds of things all over the world. I did not tell you what I wanted to talk to you about, but I think it is incumbent upon people like you, people like me, people like him to bring love, compassion, and relationship back to a world that desperately needs it. And there aren't many professions embracing that thought process like network marketing. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. We're in the relationship building business, and I found that, this is the Network Marketing Leadership Show, and I found that the people that do the best in business are the people that build the strongest connections with people as friends, and that's why you're great at this business. And when I look at all the top leaders in network marketing, they're great at building friendships, and some of those friendships result in powerful business relationships, and some of them just become friendships.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people miss the boat. People that go into this business thinking that, it's all about just getting business. It's all about just networking to do business. And it's really about building friendships. And the way you do that is by treating people right. I'm reading a book right now called I just got this book and somebody mailed it to me and I have no idea who mailed it to me. I need to find out. It might have been the guy that wrote it. I'm not sure, but it's called the Mr. Thank You Note, the Mr. Thank You Project. And this is a journey to elevate the level of gratitude on the planet. And this guy right here, what he decided to do at one point is send 5 thank you notes a day to people that he meets throughout his life. And he just tells the stories of the difference that it's made in his life and the lives of the people that he met along the way. And it's a phenomenal book. But, you know, it's like I was at this big event in a big BNI, Business Network International event in Scottsdale, Arizona 2 days ago with Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, and Cody Bateman.
Meet him.
Cody Bateman was there. Bob Berg, the Go-Giver. I don't know if you've read that. You know Bob.
Of course.
Yeah. Have you had him on your show?
3 times.
Okay, good. So, but again, I look at these people that have, you know, expansive worldwide networks, and the reason they do well in business is not because they're extra smart. It's because they've built relationships with hundreds and in some cases thousands of people. And if you want to get something done, you go to one of these people and they know somebody they can connect you with. It's about making those connections. That's all it is. And when you have a powerful product or a powerful service that you know can make a difference for people, and you focus on building those connections, the rest kind of just takes care of itself.
That's 100% true. And you know, Dr. Meisner and BNI is such a great example, because I think that network marketing is a phenomenal profession, but I think these principles apply far wider than that into all these different professions that BNI unites together. And that no matter where you do, no matter what kind of business you're in, that those same sort of things apply. It's all about how do you build relationships? How do you become a person that is willing to offer value to everybody that they come in contact with, that they want to contribute? And when you do that, all sorts of things start coming back to you in your own business, in your own life, right?
Absolutely. So that's a great point, Adrian. I'm at dinner a couple nights ago with Dr. Ivan Meisner. He's sitting next to me. We've got about 10 people at the table. And I thought to myself, this guy that I'm sitting next to is probably one of the most well-connected people on the planet. He started the largest privately held business networking organization in the world with 260,000 active members. And then I thought about, how did I meet this guy? I met him because I was at a networking event 15 years ago, and a construction worker introduced me to a guy that's about Adrian's age. And I asked if I could take him to lunch, and we ended up going to lunch and becoming friends. And I became friends with his wife, Kelly. They were newly married, and we became very close family friends. And ultimately, over time, I met Dr. Meisner through the BNI organization, introduced him to our founder, and made that connection. Well, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be on Necker Island, which is Richard Branson's island. Yes.
You invited me to Albuquerque?
You're coming to Las Cruces, not Albuquerque.
Okay,
Las
keep going.
Cruces.
You're going to Necker Island. Keep going.
I'm going to be on Necker Island with Dr. Ivan Meisner and his wife, Beth, and 15 other people, and Richard Branson. But the way that happened is all about making connections and building friendships. And then also always looking for ways that you can provide value to those individuals that you meet. So it's not just making the connection, but it's also looking for ways that you can uplift those people. And you do that through the contributions that you can make to their life. Always asking yourself, you know, what can I provide to them that's going to make a difference for them and make their life better or help them do business better? And when you make that kind of a contribution, they want to be around you more.
My job in my life, and I tell this to 2 guys flew in from Montreal, Canada, that are in another network marketing company, flew down just to shadow me. And they said, what's your most important thing that you do? And I said, making sure that everybody that I meet leaves feeling better about themselves than when they got there.
Absolutely.
If I can do that. And I am going to tell you, I never let people mention company names on here because it's just, it's not.
I didn't do that, did I? I didn't. Oh, okay. Okay.
And I have been jealous of send out cards forever. And I would listen to this because this is important. This is an important confession. And I would get the envelope and I'd look at it and I go, oh, this was written by a computer. And I've gotten those cards for years, and I was an arrogant jerk, you know, because I was in another company, and I'd say if they really like me, they'd send me a note with their handwriting on it. And I was such a jerk about that. And finally, I shifted it a lot. And as a result of that, did we lose him, Marianne?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
As a result of that, Jason, we don't have a screen. So as a result of that, all of a sudden it shifted. And I started realizing the heart behind all those cards I was getting. That real estate lady named Gail that just
she is the best.
She's
Gail.
Yeah, she's just this unbelievably kind person. But the point I make is I can tell you one thing right now. A card, a telephone call, something meaningful is so important. I don't, you know, the people that supposedly love me don't even text me. They don't call me. They don't email me. I get jack. And then all of a sudden I get all these notes from people like Jordan and people like that. And it is so doggone important. So I want to plug that because then we got on Cody's podcast. And I saw Cody's heart. I saw his eyes. I saw how he loved people and believed in people. And it reminded me of so much of you and this like-minded tribe that you guys have built of doing that. And then I started really looking around at all the network marketers send out card stuff to market their own businesses because they can just be customers in your company. And I'm not telling all of you guys to join Send Out Cards. I'm telling you to join something like Send Out Cards if you don't join Send Out Cards, because it makes a difference having people know that you're thinking of them. And that is the end of the infomercial for Jordan Adler. But this guy and his company and this mission is important to bring us together again. So I never say that, but I did it because you're doing the right thing, Jordan. Keep it up.
Thank you, Tom. Can I give you a plug right now?
No.
So Tom spoke at the GoPro, the big network marketing pro business exposition, the training that we had at the where was it? At the MGM Grand Arena, thousands and thousands of people, and he spoke about how to build relationships and connect with Uber drivers. And this book that I'm reading right now, they actually have.
Good deal.
He actually sent a thank you card to his Uber driver, and this is the thank you card. Now, this has nothing to do with our company, by the way. This is just a book somebody sent me because they thought it would be interesting to me. But again, it just goes back to the importance. And Tom Chenault, not Adrian Chenault, although Adrian is right up there, but Tom Chenault is the master at making people feel great. And you know, Tom throws out compliments, but he throws out sincere, genuine compliments, and he does it to everybody. That everybody that truly makes a positive impression on him. He's real good at it. And that's the reason why he's made millions of dollars in network marketing, is because he doesn't do it to make millions of dollars in network marketing. He does it because it's the right thing to do. He makes friends with people. People love.
Shut up. We're going to a break. I cannot stand all this. All right. We'll be back right after this. This is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Tom Chenault and Adrian Chenault and Jordan Adler. Stick around. And we're back. You got Richard Brooke watching. You got Els Capel watching from Amsterdam. I mean, it is crazy. Jason Cardamone, I love him. The other Borrego kid, Jason Borrego, is on here. Unbelievable, Jordan. You pull people. So
I wanted to show you this, Tom. So on my phone, I've set some alarms. I don't know if you can see this, but if you look at the 9 a.m. alarm, do you see that?
Yeah.
So you were my 9 a.m. compliment. Do you see that? It says compliment someone.
Isn't that awesome?
So at 9 a.m. every morning, my alarm goes off to remind me to compliment somebody.
That is so
inspired by you.
Right?
And then at noon, feel 5 heartbeats.
Yep.
At 3 o'clock, you're crushing 2020. At 5 p.m., appreciate somebody. And then at 8 p.m., send a card and a gift. Every day. Every day.
So what do you got, MrContactMapping.com? We're at the break.
So I was just thinking as you were talking about send out cards, and what I think that enables, and why I think that there's such an overlap between who Jordan is, what Jordan does, and what we're doing at Contact Mapping is, I think the magic of being able to send a card right from your fingertips is that you have taken away all of the distance between, I thought of Jordan, he's a great guy, and oh, but wait, I don't have any thank you notes, or oh, wait, I'm not at my house, or oh, wait, I don't have a stamp, or oh, wait, all the BS that stops us from just living into that sense of gratitude and connection. And so whether it's sending a card, whether it's picking up the phone the moment that that person flips through your brain and just immediately dialing the phone, which this guy does literally to a fault.
To a fault.
But does tremendously well. And it's just calling somebody up and saying, I just love you and I don't have anything to say to you other than that I love you or that I think you're cool. When no one gets that phone call ever. And you can make a profound difference in people's lives. And then if you take it to the next level and you go and you ask them about their kid by name, or you ask them about that thing they told you they were worried about the last time you talked to them on the phone, or whatever it is, that's what contact mapping enables you to do, is it enables you to separate that distance between thought and action, and to have this history with every person that you've ever met, to be able to tap into and to bless them by playing back their story. And we were at breakfast this morning with our friends from Canada, and this guy stops by the table, and Dad played back his story to him in a really powerful way. And this guy teared up at the breakfast table because he spoke so kindly, but also so truly of his story, which he remembered without, he was able to recall it because he cared enough to remember. And the impact that moment had, you can't put a price on that. Whether you ever do business, whether you do anything else, being that kind of person in somebody's life is truly priceless. And what contact mapping is really about is having you be that kind of person. And if you can be that kind of person, you're going to make a big difference in the world. So
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and I'm a customer of Adrian's in contact mapping. I use contact mapping, and I read a quote the other day that says, curiosity is the precursor to appreciation, and appreciation is the birthplace of empathy. With empathy, we grow in compassion, and the more compassion we have, the more deep and meaningful ways we connect. And that's really what you're talking about, Adrian, because curiosity, asking questions, learning about people, learning, what are their interests? What are they excited about in life? What are they feeling the pressure about? What is it that they're looking forward to? All those kinds of things. Learning about people, that curiosity is the precursor to appreciation. That gives you the ability to really appreciate people in a way that's meaningful to them.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let me say 2 words right now in case we can even salvage this part. We're back. This is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Tom Chenault. We have got the great Jordan Adler with us, and he wants to read a great quote right now that you have got to hear no matter what, because it is going to change the world, because it's what we all stand for. The great Richard Brooke just sent us a quote from Maya Angelou too. I'll read that shortly, but read that quote, Jordan, because it is magical. Would you read that again right now for me?
Absolutely. I thought we were on the air, but apparently we weren't. Curiosity is the precursor to appreciation, and appreciation is the birthplace of empathy. With empathy, we grow in compassion, and the more compassion we have, the more deep and meaningful ways we connect. And Adrian Chenault's company, Contact Mapping, which I am a client, allows you to record all those things you learn about people in a way that's easily accessible, so that you can then appreciate people at a level that will be meaningful to them.
Who said that, Jordan? Do you know
That's
who said that?
John Israel.
Man,
That's
heavy duty. Well, going back to your profound belief in nice guys finishing first, you've made millions of dollars in this profession by leading with your heart. When you finally like my shirt says, when you finally fired your brain and you just became the best Jordan possible, everything shifted for you. And what I want to talk about is the man that you were versus the man that you are because of what happened to you 6 months ago, where you got within an inch of losing your life. You are a new human being, yet one more time, and reinvented one more time, a lot more grateful, even though you were already a very grateful man. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I was actually in Costa Rica between Christmas and New Year's at a yoga retreat, and it really gave me an opportunity to really stop and really get present and let go of all the things, all the noise that we get caught up in our lives. So I was there, and every morning there was no talking. There was about 30 people, and there was no talking till noon. We did yoga every morning. We ate breakfast every morning in silence. We were at the beach, so we got to sit and listen to the waves. And it really allowed me to look back on my life and really begin to embrace just the miracle of life. And that we play such a small role in everything that happens around us. So like, for example, there's waterfalls and there's the sun. If the sun goes out, we cease to exist. And we're all connected in that way. We're all connected. The leaves from the trees provide us with the oxygen that we breathe. And without that vegetation, we cease to exist on the planet. We're all connected. And it really helped me to get in alignment with that. So I came very close to death on August 27th. The helicopter that I was hovering in, I turned the controls over to a guy, and about 4 seconds later, we crashed. We had been hovering, the story. And I got pulled from the wreckage. There was fuel pouring all around us. Thank God there was not a spark. If there had been a spark, I probably wouldn't be here with you today. And it shook my world. And it gave me an opportunity to really get clear that, I have a purpose. I have a continued purpose here on this planet. And so I'm living out that purpose. And
You're doing a beautiful job of it. And
thank you.
I didn't need a shift, but I've seen a shift. I didn't think you could be more kinder and more humble. And I didn't think you could be a better guy, but you have done that. And earlier on the show, when we were doing the pre-show, you were talking about literally weeping around the circumstance of a friend of yours. And, when people say that to you, you really can't visualize people weeping, especially grown men. But when I heard him say that, there was no doubt in my mind that's exactly what was going on, because this guy's heart is so much bigger than his brain. And if you don't go to jordanadler.com, and if you don't follow this guy, and maybe if you don't get embraced in sort of a wholesale account with send out cards, you're making a big mistake, because this guy is the real deal, and what they're up to is the real deal. And we can't afford to lose anybody else. People are dying around us far too much. People are fighting. People are angry. Stress is so high. I don't want that. I want my shirt to tell the story where we are absolutely embracing, holding hands, looking for togetherness, not separation. So we're going to take another little break. This is regular radio. Richard Brooke loves these. So please stick around and listen to the survivalist commercials on the Genesis Communications Network. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. It's Tom and Adrian and Jordan on the commercial. Okay, so the commercial lasts, Jordan, until exactly 34. So those of you,
but they can still see us, right?
Everybody's watching on the internet.
Earlier
on the, so I was weeping.
This is the internet radio show portion of
it. You're not
when you alluded to earlier.
You're not going to take your shirt off again.
No, but Jordan refuses to call this a radio show. So earlier I was weeping, like he was weeping, but I was weeping over the fact that he kept calling it an internet radio show, like every Tom, Dick, and Harry has, not like a huge radio show like this really isn't.
Blowtorch.
Yeah, blowtorch. So anyway, so we're happy, and he's our only sponsor. So we give him the microphone. Take it away.
That's pretty perfect.
What's up?
So Jordan, I love you showing your little alarms earlier and kind of living into this process of gratitude and this process of connection and reaching out to people. And I actually want to use this as an opportunity to invite anybody who's watching, because starting tomorrow, we are kicking off. We're going to do a 30-day 2020 kickoff where we're doing something very similar to what you're talking about there, where we're going to take hundreds of people from our community and we are going on this journey over 30 days to establish a set of daily habits about connecting and building relationships and staying in touch and showing them how to do it daily, and how to do it daily in a way that is really approachable. Like, you know, what Jordan showed you, it wasn't 50,000 alarms. It was 4 or 5 alarms during the day, 4 or 5 tiny little activities. But when you do those things day in and day out, magic starts to happen, both in terms of the results that it produces, but also just I think it changes you internally as a human being. And you've done many of those practices, I would imagine, far before you ever had those alarms. And so talk maybe a little bit about that, about how that practice of appreciating people and caring for people in relationships
Before
has
you go there,
changed you.
I know it, but before you go there, I need you guys to know that when it comes to alarms, I kick Jordan Adler's ass.
Oh, look at this. Wow.
Thank you very much. Bingo,
This is
bingo.
why
Take a vitamin.
you're so alarming, Tom.
I am a very alarming man, but I can't remember anything. And so I have that little, you never even hear it. It's like this a little electric. I found an alarm that is like, I can hear it, but no one else can. And it
Oh,
reminds me to do all these specific measurable results that I have to put into existence. Otherwise, I'm eating bonbons and sleeping and calling Richard Brooke on the phone.
so it's like the dog whistle alarm where you can hear it.
Yeah, it's so quiet, but no one else can. It's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So talk about how those practices not just impact other people, but how that changes you as you've done that.
You know, little things that you do every day, a little new habit for 2020 that you can implement. Any new little habit can make a seismic shift in your life. So for example, if that's all you decided to do was read a chapter from a book every morning, if that's all you ever did, like that's your new habit for 2020, that will create a seismic shift in your life. If that's all you did was write one thank you card a day for 2020, that will create a seismic shift in your life. If that's all you did was say, you know what, I'm going to intentionally meet 2 people a day, just 2 new people every day for 2020, that will create a seismic shift in your life. You don't have to do everything. You just have to make 1 shift or 2 shifts, and that will 2 new habits, and that will shift everything for you. Because one of the things that I've learned is that that almost every single dream that I've ever accomplished or achieved in my life, and I've got a lot of them that I'm very proud of, and I know you do too. Every single one of them was a result that it was created through meeting somebody. It was created through meeting somebody. So when I look at getting my helicopter pilot's license, or writing my first book, Beach Money, or my second book, Beach Money, or you know, being on the Virgin Galactic space program, or you know, being part of the Kiva organization to be able to help businesses. All of those are a result of meeting somebody new. And so sometimes that's all it is. It's just like, maybe I'm going to intentionally meet somebody new every day. Intentionally, where I'm going to strike a conversation or create some type of an activity that will ensure that I meet somebody new every day. So those are examples of some habits.
All right, let's go back.
All right.
Seconds. And we're back. This is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Adrian Chenault and Tom Chenault. Hello, buddy.
Hello.
Or is this guy just teaching us a lesson or what?
Every time, man.
All right. So,
Tom.
What?
Can we talk about residual income?
Do you ever make it? Does
Do you
anybody
want?
ever make residual income?
You know a few people that have.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
Is that okay if we talk about residual income?
I want you to.
Okay, I think it's an important topic.
Fire it up.
My buddy, Mark Herdering, who's literally in his last few hours of life on the earth. We've known each other for 20 years, and he's got ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. In fact, minutes before this radio show with you, I was on the phone with his friend Steve, and we were bawling our eyes out. Mark has a residual check, and he, because of that residual check, he was able to write a book he was able to take a couple of years off. He didn't work for a couple of years, and he wrote a book called Hanging Out for a Living. And that book in many ways is his legacy. It's an amazing, that's part of his legacy. But the cool thing is that that residual check it lives on beyond Mark. Mark's goal was to initially was to earn $180 a month so he could pay his utility bill. And then when he got to that point, he said, you know what, I want to be able to make my cell phone bill with my residual check. So he added an additional $150 to his residual. So he got to a point building his business where he was making $300 a month, a little over $300 a month. And then he said, I want to have a car payment. So he got to the point where his car payment was covered with his residual check. And he did this over a period of 3.5 years where he had his utility bill, his cell phone bill, his car payment, his rent. He didn't make a lot of money, but he had a residual check that covered his life, his basic financial needs, and it allowed him to move to Portland where he wanted to spend, the remainder of his life. And so he moved to Portland, and then he took a couple of years off and smoked cigars and wrote a book. And that residual check will be passed on. And I got to tell you, I just want to say this about residual. It's really crazy because there's not too many adults that don't want a residual check. If you interviewed 1,000 people that are over 18 years old and you said, would you like a residual check? Almost all of them would say yes. The reason most people don't have it is because they don't believe it's possible, or they don't believe it's possible for them. And the truth is, there are millions of people that get a residual check. And it's something that everyone would love to have. And the gift that we have in this profession is that we have the vehicle and the training that can help people get it. And I love that about our profession. It's one of the few professions that will really provide a level of freedom that will give people the choices that they don't have working a regular job. And most people that have jobs, if they were given a $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 residual check, they would leave their job if they had that check. And we have a way that we can help people get that if they're willing to go to work and put in the time up front. I love that about our profession, and that's why I never apologize for it. That's one of the reasons why I have one today, is because I believed it was possible and I went to work. And it gives me the freedom to do things that most other people don't get to do. You as well.
And it's hard, everybody. But so's Brooke. So's no residual income after you do that job for all that time. And people call me all the time and say, is this going to be hard? And I go, you're darn right it's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. But it done well, it's going to be worth it. And that's the most important part. This little tightly wound college graduate, summa cum grad, whatever you call yourself, I mean, he went out in the world and worked really, really hard and accomplished many things. But when he came home and got a little taste of this life, he likes what it tastes like, don't you? Especially the fact that when I die, my check lives on. So that's got him pretty happy too. And that's why he has me not really watching my diet so well. Yeah. Keep going.
Have another bonbon.
Like you could go out. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something, Adrian?
Just really quick, that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, that's less than a lot of people make. But if that becomes mailbox money, if that becomes a residual, the freedom that gives to your life, I hadn't thought about that until you shared that inside of Mark's story. The freedom that allows you to have this buffer to be able to go and do something that you wouldn't dare do in your life, or that you'd never have the opportunity because you'd never give yourself permission because you just don't have enough buffer. That's a huge deal. And I think you can live a much fuller, more joyful, more contributing life as a result of doing that. So I loved that you shared it that way, because if you make a bazillion dollars a year in network marketing, obviously you're very, very happy about that. But that getting to that point is something that I think we can all get our heads around. And that's life-changing on a huge level because of what it opens up in terms of those options. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like what happens if you work over the next 5 years part-time, say 10 hours a week over the next 5 years, and you put in 10 hours a week and learn the business of network marketing, and you create a check that equals your bills, what would your life be like?
Yeah.
Think about that. Now, there's lots of different ways. You could go and buy vending machines. You know, a nice vending machine is somewhere in the range of $3,000 to $5,000. Actually, can be even as high as $10,000. But you'll never make much money off one vending machine. And then you got to stock the machine. And then you've got to make sure that the machines don't break. And then you got to collect the money out of the machines, all that, the accounting. So, you know, you might, to be able to create a significant residual from vending machines, you might have to have $50,000 to $100,000 into it. And then you have to be able to maintain that. So that's difficult. Or you could, you know, buy rentals. And I don't know, Tom, you've probably bought a few rentals in your life. Usually takes
but fun.
Usually takes a lot of money to do that. And there's a, you know, I owned 49 rentals at my peak. I would take my network marketing residuals and I'd buy rentals. I've sold all my rentals. Nothing wrong with that business, but I had almost $1 million into the rentals, you know, in down payments, and I had mortgages and all that. And then I had tenants that once in a while decided they wanted to sue for different things. Maybe a storm blows your tree over onto the neighbor's car. There's things that happen, but that's a difficult business. You can create residual there, but you usually have to have some money and some resources to get that started. Or you can join a network marketing business and put in some sweat equity. And you've got a team of people around you that want to share with you how to do it. There's so many books written. There's training out there. There's lots of free training on YouTube. There's the Tom Chenault show, leadership show. There's all these people that want to help you build your business that have, in a lot of cases, they have a stake in your success. So if you're successful, they're successful. So they want to teach you how to do it successfully. And you can get started on a shoestring, unlike a lot of the other things that are out there that can create residual income. I think it's the best model out there for someone who doesn't, like myself. You know, I had $36,000, and cut me off if we need to move on to a break or whatever time.
You're doing great.
But you know, I had $36,000 in debt on 22 credit cards when I joined my 12th network marketing company. My rent was $200 a month. I was 34 years old. My job was paying me $28,000 a year until the company filed bankruptcy and cut my pay in half. At the age of 34, I was making $14,000 a year. My rent was $200 a month, and I had roommates. And I had a Jeep in the street that it was broken down. That was when I joined my 12th network marketing company. I didn't make a penny on my first 11 companies, not one penny, never sponsored one person. Joined my 12th company in 1992. I knew Richard Brooke from afar. I learned a lot from that guy, reading his books and listening to his cassette tapes.
Is he still alive?
Brooke's still alive.
Okay,
He's
good.
Still kicking. Still kicking. But because of people like, I didn't know Tom Chenault yet, but because of people like Richard Brooke and Milton Fogg and people like, you know, Art Jonak, and I didn't know Eric Worre yet, but these people were people that had stuff out there that could train me, and I learned the business. And they say when opportunity and preparation come together. And in 1992, I finally figured out how to sponsor a distributor. And over the course of the next 13 years, I signed up 144 people. And I signed up 129 people in 144 months, so less than one a month. And 5 of those 129 went on to build with me a team of 85,000 distributors and 250,000 customers, and I made millions of dollars with that company. But that was after it was 11 companies in 10 years, and I didn't make a penny. And in 1992, I joined my 12th company, and I finally figured out how to set up an appointment. I was meeting people, how to set up an appointment, doing all the things we talked about already on the show today, and how to show the business and follow up. And as a result of those things, I started bringing in one person a month, and I found out that for every 20 or 30 people you bring in, you got one person that wants to be a rock star that will go out and do the work. And so out of those 129 people that I signed up over 14 years, 124 of them either quit or became customers, and 5 of them decided that they wanted to be serious about this business, and they built large organizations within my team, and I get to benefit because I was in front of that growth.
Yeah, and that's what you just had, and it took time, and you kissed a lot of frogs, but you look back on it, and it was more than worth it, wasn't it?
More than worth it. I would do it all over again. And yeah, it's residual income is such a gift. And if people really understood the value that it would provide to their life, they would stick around and learn whatever lessons they need to learn to create it in their lives, because it's phenomenal just to be able to wake up every day knowing that once you've spent your money, it's coming back. Every month you spend your money, it's coming back.
Isn't that a cool concept?
You take $100 out of your wallet and you spend it, and you know what? The difference between your $100 bill, not you, Tom, but most people, the difference between your $100 bill and my $100 bill is my $100 bill comes back and I don't have to go to work. But I put in the price. I paid the price up front. Yep. It was worth it.
And Richard Brooke talks about it in the 4-year career.
It's phenomenal. Oh, hey, check this out. Richard, check this out.
All right.
Well, you little ass kisser. Unbelievable.
I love this book. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Everybody that has a job needs to read this book. Everybody needs to read this book that has a job.
That is
a 4-year career for those of us that.
Wait, hold on.
The 4-year career. He has got a couple of cases of them there.
There's my business cards in there.
That's so awesome.
Where are you? Starbucks?
I'm in my condo.
Okay, good. Just checking. That is so exciting. All right, we're going to take a little tiny break here. This is the most delightful, nice guy, JordanAdler.com, contactmapping.com. This is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Tom Chenault and Adrian Chenault on the Genesis Communication Network, which happens to be on the radio. We'll be back right after this. The radio, what a concept.
There we go. Now we're on now this is an internet show.
Now we're back on the internet show. So this is the funnest part, because you can cuss. Who's my guest next week? Somebody tell me. Brooke saw oh, thank goodness Richard didn't fall asleep over there in Hawaii, and he saw you hold up all his books. So he's all happy.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Talk about a guy knowing who's going to be the guest next week, sending him a case of free books just in case you're going to be on an internet radio show. The guy is a marketing genius. This was unbelievable. Yeah, this is crazy stuff. So this is what's going on.
So
you didn't even tell me about your little 2020 thing. This is unbelievable.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, good. I'm fired.
Maybe if you checked texts, emails, answered the phone, or checked on Slack. Yeah. Jordan, talk a little bit about, I have really watched the way that you carry yourself, the opportunities that I've had to be around you. And I just love the way that you make friends. I see it over and over again. And so talk a little bit about what is your secret to making, to continuing to develop friendships over and over and over again throughout this whole career in network marketing?
Yeah. So, well, for one thing, I know that the gateway to the world is through your friendships. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you meet somebody new and you stop and you let go of all the noise and the thoughts that keep you inwardly focused, and you focus on them and ask questions and really listen to what they say, ask questions that be curious with people. So when I meet somebody new, I want to know a little bit about them. I want to know, how did they get here? Like, what are their interests? Tell me a little bit about your family. What do you love to do? So I ask questions and I listen. How did you end up in this environment? Who connected you to network marketing? Why did you get involved in network marketing? So I ask lots of questions and I listen. And then I can use my contact mapping to record it because I'm not going to remember. And then I can go back to my contact mapping, type in any keyword, and it all comes up. And I can see what did we talk about in case I don't remember, which I probably won't remember. So one is, being genuinely interested in the other person. Secondly is complimenting with sincere compliments. Third is looking for a way to, if it's somebody you're interested in and you want to stay connected with, make sure you connect in some way, whether it be follow each other on Instagram, become friends on Facebook, get their information into your contact mapping, get their address and send them a card, whatever it is you do to stay connected to them. And contact mapping even reminds you to, at your, you can say 3 months, 6 months, a year, when you want to get back with them. It'll remind you to do that. And so those are all important. Those are all real important things. But those are the things that when I meet somebody new, I want to build a bridge as quickly as possible. And then I'm also going to be looking for things that I can do for them that will bring value to their life in some way. So those are some of the things that I think about.
That is so awesome. And you guys, Jordan is the top of the heap, but everything he just said, you could do. And he does it. I've watched him do exactly what he just said. And I owe you like $200 for that. So thank you. But I watch you do that. I watch you walk that talk. So I know we're over the break. I know I got to shut up, but thank you. That was tremendous.
Thank you, Adrian. How did he come from you?
And
wait.
This
that
is
was
the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Tom Chenault. And Jordan Adler just asked a very profound question. He said, it was just a statement. He said, I've never seen two people more like chip off the old block than you and your dad. So, it's unbelievable. Isn't this, I mean, for those of you listening on the radio, Adrian doesn't look like me. He certainly doesn't act like me, but he's a lot more like me than you think, because he's got this little wild streak that he doesn't really let people see that much. He is one adorable kid who I feel like I've known you all my life. All your life.
I bet he's amazing on the hoverboard.
Oh, shut up. That is horrible. Yeah.
So we were at breakfast with this lady this morning. This cute little, probably 80-year-old lady comes by and she goes, you look so much like this guy who used to be in this Boulder theater and blah, 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 blah. And I go, that's really interesting. Was he hanging around Littleton around 1984 by chance?
Yeah, she thought the guy might be his dad. Yeah, it was so sad. But the fact is he's a great kid. Nothing is a greater honor than working with your son every day. And I love you and thank you. But for those of you who want to know who next week's guest is, it's Richard Brooke. Did you realize that?
Phenomenal. Get those beach money books in the mail, Jordan.
So we need some beach monies to plug his show with you. So that'll be just perfect. We'll be going both directions. But yeah, content is everything. And we want Ivan Misner on this show because I am telling you, we have got to connect the world. And we have to connect them through love, through relationship, all this social media. This has got to be a connection device, and I'm holding up a phone for those of you on the radio, not a separation device. And what it's become is a separation device. If you don't believe me, ask your wife or your husband or your kids who are so sick of you looking at your phone and not being with them because it isn't a connection device. You've got to learn that and learn it in a hurry and use your phone as a tool, not as something to absolutely ruin relationships with people. Would you agree?
100% agree. And your point about the kids is actually, I hate even telling the story because I just feel so guilty, but as you might imagine, as a millennial who has an app company who is truly an addict of this thing, every time, I will pick it up and I watch my kids get frustrated, just like the virtue of me, or the non-virtue, whatever the opposite is of virtue, of me picking this thing up. I watch their countenance change when I do it. And we've got to be here. And I've got to learn to be better in that way. But it's just the same thing is happening in the conversation that you're having at that coffee shop or in that business meeting. You think that they don't see you glance down at your phone or do whatever. They know exactly what you're doing. And it's an epidemic. And I am exhibit A of that epidemic. So don't hear that as me telling you what to do and, being high and mighty. I'm not. But it's a big deal. It's a bigger deal than we all appreciate it, I think.
Yeah. So, and Jordan, you are, again, the king of relationships, and we appreciate you more than you're ever going to know, being our friend, actually being such a proponent of what we're doing, trying to make the world better. What you've done with Send Out Cards is absolutely magical. You have been the benchmark of that company. Cody Bateman is a lucky man to have you. And it was incredible that you hooked him up with us and let us meet him and be on his podcast, because we got to see why you're at that company. And God bless you and thank you.
I was just checking my texts here. What were you saying?
Amen to that. No kidding. Yeah. Yeah. So it's fun. And it's fun once you realize it and you spot it and you can call it on yourself and you can strive to be that better person. People are going to notice that you're paying attention to them because they've been noticing forever that you don't. And you're that refreshing person that's actually listening and people notice. So take that on. Put that on your alarms.
Yeah. No, that's a great point too, right? It becomes paying attention to people is a superpower because nobody else does it. And you do that super well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
what else? What do you got? Anything else? We're like talking about the same thing over and over and over again. We're kind of like,
You're the host of the radio show.
Okay,
Your
so-
name's built into the title.
is there anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here in the next 2 minutes, Jordan?
We have 2 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I think that the number one reason that people don't make it in the business is because they get frustrated at some point, and that results in them quitting. And quitting is not a great strategy for success in our business. Every single person that's ever made it had challenges bigger than yours. If they've made it, they've had challenges bigger than yours. And the difference between you and them is that they learned something instead of throwing in the towel. They used it as an opportunity to learn. What did they need to conquer to get through it so that they could take their business to a whole new level? And that starts at the very beginning when you're brand new. When you get feedback from the universe that it's not working for you, that doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. That doesn't mean it's not for you. That just means that you have something to learn. And you can then take your business to the next level by learning whatever lessons the universe is bringing to you and working through those, whether it be by just trying it again or by getting with somebody that's done it and asking them questions, figure out what it is that is causing you to get shut down and working through those challenges to take you to the next level. So that would be my advice, is when you have challenges, don't quit. That just means it's an opportunity to learn something.
All right, everybody, go to jordanadler.com. Take a look at that. Go to contactmapping.com. Take a look at that. Come back here next week. Listen to Richard Bliss Brooke. He is going to be magnificent, just like Jordan was. And no matter what, connect with people. We love you. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening.
Peace out.
Peace out. And we're back. All right, let's see.
That was awesome.
You guys, you are such a Carrie Clark. I love you. Michelle Poe. Holy mackerel. She's an icon.
Michelle's awesome.
Janine is here. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The people that love you. Sean Lee. People listen all the way from Singapore. Incredible stuff. And what we want to do, Jordan, Linda Evident. Oh my gosh. You ever seen her? She's down in Australia. Okay, Jordan, I want to talk about that because you're on the Wednesday Mastermind with Richard Brooke.
Yeah, with Richard Brooke?
With Eric Worre. Brooke, he isn't invited. So sorry, Richard. You're generic. You can't be on it, Richard.
You never know what he's going to say, Richard. You just never know.
So here's what I want to say. Is it astounding how much we learn each week from other people, most of them 12 years old, that are making major money, doing things so completely differently yet alike, but doing it well? I mean, it is an unbelievable learning experience, isn't it?
It really is. There's always new things to learn, right?
Yeah, but you killed it with your Facebook watches. I mean, I
just, I didn't invent that by any means. I just took what I was learning and put it into a simple training system that I could teach. So, and that, was something that, I packaged it. That's all I did. Was
selling it or selling it?
No.
Are you doing it generically anywhere?
No.
Tell people just like quickly, the show's over, but there's still a zillion people watching. Tell people quickly what that's all about.
Well, a watch party allows you to do a video on your timeline, and then someone else can go to your timeline and they can Oh, look.
Richard Brooke.
Appreciate someone.
Oh, good. That's exciting.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop here for a few minutes and just appreciate somebody. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
No.
We appreciate that.
No. So I'll do that after the show. I'll appreciate somebody after the show. Anyway, so a watch party is simply you do a video on you can do a presentation or a video or whatever on your timeline, and someone else can go to your timeline and they can start a watch party. And when they do that, it moves the video from your timeline to their timeline. So now the video is sitting on their timeline for their friends to see. So if you have a team of say 10 people or 50 people or 100 people or 1,000 or whatever, and you want to do a presentation on your timeline, you can coordinate everyone going to your timeline at a specific time, running a watch party, and that will move the video onto their timeline. So now all of their friends, which you couldn't get to before, can see that video. So let's say you do some type of you could do, once a month, do a company presentation on your timeline and give your team an opportunity to watch party, and that puts it out onto their timeline so that their friends can see it, and then they can tag and message people in those videos. In a nutshell, that's what it is, Tom.
And you rip the cover off the ball on this mastermind. There's over 100, at least $100,000 earners, all the way up to several million a year. And these kids, these people were mesmerized by what you did. And I just want to acknowledge you for that, because you're learning and you're teaching.
I'll tell you this, every single person that, these are people that are already earning, $30,000 a month to $150,000, $200,000 a month. These are people this group of people are people that are really making things happen in the network marketing profession. And so they've got lots and lots of people on their teams, but they're doing this and getting, anywhere from 20,000 views to 100,000 views on their videos. And the way they're doing that is they're running it on their timeline, but then their teams are going to their timeline and running watch parties from that. So it's networking out. It's using the same principles that we used to do, but we used to have to get on an airplane and fly to a city in order to do a presentation in that city. And then the team over there had to work really hard to get all these people in a room. Today, they're all sitting in a room already, and that room is their Facebook friends. It's online. So you have a way to get to those people without spending the money to rent a hotel room and signing contracts and pay for your flights and all that stuff. You can do that today using the technology that you have. And you don't have to have tens of thousands of people to do it. You can start it with 5 people. You could start it with 5 people on your team that all agree that we're going to do a watch party together and we're going to introduce the business to a few hundred people tonight.
Ray Higdon loves your sunglasses. He thinks you look like Pitbull.
Okay. Ray, what's up? I wish I had a Ray book to hold up right now.
How about
Ray?
Ray?
Would you send me a case? Yeah, Ray. I wish I had a Ray book to hold up.
He was in Denver. He did about a 12-hour seminar one day. I picked him up at 5 at night. We drug him all over Colorado. He went to my house and everybody sat there and hugged him and took pictures with him, got back in the car, educated Adrian at a level you wouldn't believe, all out of the kindness of his heart.
Wow.
So, and I also got real present to the value of his homegrown coaching. He is killing it. And he's making a difference and a contribution. And with that said, I love him. And just a good man.
He does a 12-hour, I don't even have 12 hours worth of stuff. He does a 12-hour training.
He was out of his mind. And he's just good. And even though he did school me on a conference call today and completely, we're on the ANMP call. And so I throw my opinion out and he goes, I think my opinion is exactly the opposite. And it was hilarious. And I'm going, man alive, don't you think we could have done that on the side? It was adorable, but he was right, of course. And that was even worse. But yeah, very funny. So you guys, you meet friends. I mean, before we get out of here, the friends you have, Jordan, everywhere you go on the planet, and now to space with Richard Branson, to Necker Island with Ivan Misner, his wife, Carol, and the rest.
Beth.
Sorry, Beth. Anyway, I tried. Should have mapped it. Anyway, make a long story short, I mean, you've got unbelievable friends that you've been able to meet.
I have amazing friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from a guy that, if we would have read your resume 25 years ago, nobody would have ever had you going to Necker Island. But you didn't read it. Yeah, you didn't read it.
Well, I wouldn't have ever predicted that.
Yeah.
Like if somebody had told me that 20 years from now, I'll be going to Necker Island and hanging out with Richard Branson with less than 20 people, I would have been like, how's that going to happen?
And this is risky what I'm going to say right now, but pick the right deal. Don't mix crypto and MLM, because we all have a good friend named Joby Weeks, and he's the only other guy that's a good friend of mine that went to Necker Island on many occasions. And now, because he was in a crypto deal as a distributor, the biggest one there, he's in jail, trying like crazy to get out of there because he wasn't the company. He didn't steal the money, but he ended up in the trap. So please understand when you're doing this business that you have got to, number one, do it with monster integrity. Choose a great company. Don't try to be the first in the cutting edge. Get in it. You're building it for a long time. Build it with, I'm not saying legacy companies necessarily, but be very cautious, because not only are you taking your destiny into the hands of that company and what their future is, but the destiny of all those people. Jordan has brought 85,000 people, probably more than that. That was the number you used a few minutes ago.
That was my last company.
Yeah. Oh, that was at XL?
Yeah, Excel.
Oh, how many have joined you in Send Out Cards,
260,000. 260,000 distributors.
You're kidding.
No.
How many customers?
600,000.
So a total of 800 and something?
600,000 would include the 250,000.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, gee, many Christmas. That's amazing. That's almost half as many as me. I love you. Let's go to work. That was just a joke.
No, it wasn't a joke. It was true.
It was still a joke. I was got lucky. All right. Plus, okay, what did I do? Why in the world? That was arrogant and stupid.
Oh my goodness. Are we done?
Are we? Let's turn this thing off. Go home. Jordan, I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Adrian.
See you later.
Thanks, Marianne.
Thanks, Jordan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.